Hey class, happy Wednesday. I hope you had a excellent 4th of July. Hopefully you were able to get out and spend some time with friends and family. And if not, if you had to work like I did, hopefully you can get out sometime during the week and find some time for yourself. Spend some time with your family. And remember, 4th of July is not just about one Independence Day. Yes, it's important, but it's also now in the United States an important day for us to spend time with friends and family, just kind of goofing off. And if you still have fireworks, make sure you stay safe. Those things can injure you. Lots of injuries each year, so take all those precautions. Don't get them close to your eyes, and make sure you stay with your children and help them if you're going to use fireworks sometime during the week. Okay, so let's move on. Again, it's Wednesday. It's the day after 4th of July. I wanted to just take a moment, share some more tips, say thanks for all the hard work. You're looking good in the discussions. All your discussions are looking good, and I commend you on the hard work. We're discussing ethics and morals. We're talking about the dilemmas this week. So I wanted to just share with you, make sure you stay on point with that, and make sure that we stick, with the topic this week. Try to stay as close as you can to that topic. Now, here's what I suggest you do. Don't just get into class and start writing that initial post and respond. What I like to do is when I was posting, I like to use Microsoft Word, a similar program if you have an Apple product, something else, Google, whatever, and then write your discussions out there so that you can check your grammar, check your spelling, plug in those citations and your references, and then you can copy and paste that into discussion. It works a lot better, catches the mistakes. You can fix those and post them, because what I do is I'll select those discussions that you post. I'll randomly check those for grammatical errors using Word to make sure that they're good. Now, this first week, what we did is we kicked off. We had a great week. I tried to give you lots of feedback, or I will, on this first assignment, and I've tried to do that in the discussions. But I'll certainly give you lots of feedback, give you some opportunities to improve. Now, as we get into the second week and move forward, obviously I'll check that grammar, I'll check those citations, make sure that you're on point, you meet all those key points in the rubric. Matter of fact, I grade directly from the rubric and the instructions, and pull those up, look at them, look at your work, and that's how I grade. So make sure that you do that. And I do try to give you some feedback to help you in the future. The learning modules, if you'll take a look at those different learning modules, you'll see some good examples of the writing. So you can follow those as well as the tips and examples that I've posted in the assignments. Get time, go back and take a look at those announcements and look at those examples that I've shared with you. Make sure that you're posting those discussions and doing your papers exactly that way, using those points, because I've shared them, so then I expect you to look at them. They're there to help you. Again, my goal is to teach, to help you, to guide you, not just to deduct points. But obviously we have to have some academic rigor. Make sure you understand the material first, the points, the read material, etc., the key points, and then make sure you get your grammar and then the APA correct as we move on. So good discussion. Again, those initial posts are looking really good. Many of you jumped in early, which I appreciate you doing. I see that you've already posted replies to your peers, which is important. Make sure that you get in a minimum of 2 of those posts. Now, when you share them, make sure they're extended in detail. Try to avoid those words like "Hey, I agree with you, good job," whatever. Make sure they're extended, detailed. They've got some real direct information. Now, after reading this and looking at all the posts, sometimes it can get a little old. All the stuff, being a technical word, it all runs together. It all looks the same. So sometimes you have to take a break and then come back to it. But it really is good information. It's lots of good reading. All this is applicable, as I've said before, in the discussions as well as my previous video. It really is all applicable to what we do. Doesn't matter if we work in law enforcement, if we work in corrections, Homeland Security, or at Walmart. It's all applicable to what we do in our daily lives. So make sure that make sure that you try to find a way to apply that. good information on law and ethics in here. We have we've taken a look at the historical evidence, where law and ethics came from. All that came from the Roman era and all the different codes, etc. And we brought that with us, from the Middle Ages, those Roman empires, excuse me, over to the United States, over to the New World, from the United Kingdom. When the United States was established. So we brought that over to us. Now we've made some changes, certainly, but it's pretty much based on common law. And those are the laws that were common in a community. And what happened is a king, the monarchy of the United Kingdom, took some of that common law and they took the best of the best, if you will, made some adjustments and created what they call common law, whatever they were doing in the communities, and then they created, the law of the land, and then we brought some of that with us. So those things that were commonly done in the past, if it's common, some of that we follow today. Again, some adjustments to make things more equal and fair. The two places that's different in the United States, they don't really use a common law, and that is the state of Louisiana. In Louisiana, they use a different code based upon Bonaparte. Bonaparte, he was, Louisiana was part of France, so they used the law that was used in France, and then the Napoleonic Code, and then a little bit of changes in Alaska. Alaska's a different state. It's huge, and there's a lot of territory there that's not part of a municipality or a borough, so the laws are a little bit different there. But it's all pretty much the same, pretty much balanced. And even in Alaska and Louisiana, those laws have to meet what we do with the Constitution. They have to follow that federal law, even though it's a little bit of tweaking that goes on. OUI versus DUI or something to that effect. So a little bit of changes there. So just take a look at some of the examples that we have. Again, you're doing a fantastic job with what I'm seeing in the discussions. There's a lot of reading and resources, lots of links. I've shared some links there with you in the announcements to help you with APA, to help you with what the discussions look like. I like to see a lot of ethics, a lot of ethical theory included in there, whether you take a look at Kant or Hume or any of those people. Try to find some of those good examples to share and base all your work upon those ethical theories. Now, it's important to do that now because in your papers as we move on, especially in the milestone papers and the final, really have to be based upon ethical theory. I want to see that ethical theory. So it's good to start doing that now. And I'll post, let's see, I don't have that in there now, but I'll try to do that real quick after the video. I'll post some examples for you of ethical theory. And some information on the final to help you as we move along. So again, happy Wednesday. You're doing a good job. Just want to take a moment and say job well done. If you have any questions, send me an email, pick the phone up and let me know. Get ready for your feedback. I'm going to start grading your assignments, and then I want you to take a look at that feedback. Even if you made 100%, it's important to look at the feedback. What I've noticed is over the years that I'll give feedback and then students won't look at that. They'll just say, hey, I made 100% or I made a 98% or whatever, and they don't look at my feedback. And then you come back the next week or the week after and you make the same mistakes, and then I deduct those points, and then you wonder what happened. Well, it's because you didn't look at the feedback. So make sure you take a look at that feedback, because I developed that, I share it, I include it to help you, not to hinder you. It's there to help you. I try to give you some real good points on our first feedback on this first week. And then, again, and I always try to do that on every assignment, but especially on that first week so that you know exactly what I'm looking for. That way, when you get into your second discussion, you get into your second paper, I'm looking for those running heads, I'm looking for grammar and citations and APA and making sure you're on the main points and everything's clear and concise. When in doubt, take a look at the instructions each week, take a look at the rubric and follow those, because that's exactly how I grade. I grade from those rubrics and those instructions. That way it's all fair and equal. Everybody gets the same opportunity, no matter who you are, what you are. It's all fair and equal that way. So take a look at those rubrics and the instructions. Keep up the great work. Have a great Wednesday. Have a great rest of the week. And if you need any help, pick up the phone, give me a call, send me an email, or we can visit via Skype. You're doing a great job. I'm proud of you. Keep rocking.